Number 6, appearances can be deceiving. You know, you guys are going to get that college degree and you're going to go get that first job and you're going to be all excited. Well, let me give you just a little bit of warning. Well, I'll just tell you another story. Okay, I get my first job as a financial aid counselor at Youngstown State University making $24,000 a year. But hey, it's revenue. I actually have income in my financial plan. So I'm trying to be smart about it. I'm going to put together a budget. So I take this budget and I got an income side and it's $24,000 a year. So I divide that by 12 and that's $2,000 a month. And I think, okay, I've got my revenue. I've got it set. Now we have to go over to that personal expense side, needs versus wants and all of that. So here's the way I worked it out. I was in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and I needed to get to Youngstown, Ohio. So I thought I needed to buy a car. So I went out and they had this deal for college graduates and I bought me a brand new car. First time in my life I'd ever had a brand new car. And I got in my brand new car. Of course, with my brand new car came a $400 a month payment. And so I get in my brand new car and I drive it to Youngstown, Ohio. After I get to Youngstown, Ohio, I think, you know what? I need a place to live. Made sense, right? So I went and found this apartment. This is a nice apartment. So this apartment came with a rent of $600 a month. And I threw open the door to my nice new apartment and there was no furniture in it. I thought, well, I need furniture. So there was a mall across the street and I went over across the street to the mall and this lady handed me a clipboard and I filled out the clipboard and she looked at it and she said, go get what you want. It was a credit application. So I got myself a couch and a chair and a bed and a TV, had all that delivered over, furnished my house, and I was doing good. Now, of course, all that was going to cost me $200 a month. And then, I thought, you got bills to pay and stuff, and so I figured I got to figure all that out. So I thought, okay, gas and electric and cable TV, and I figured all that was going to come to about $200 a month. So I was getting a little worried because, I had the $600 in rent, I had the $400 in the car payment, I had the $200 for the furniture, I had the $200 for the bills, but I'm still okay. I'm under the $2,000. Whoa, and then I got a letter in the mail. And the letter said, Mr. Burnett, 6 months after you graduate or drop below half-time, your student loans come due. Well, I knew that, but for some reason it just didn't quite resonate with me. So now I have a $200 student loan payment. So I add all of my bills up, and they come to $1,600. I'm like, whew. All right, this plan thing is working. I got $2,000 coming in. I got $1,600 going out. That's going to leave me $100 a week for incidentals like gas and groceries and stuff. That was my plan. Know where I messed up? I got my first paycheck. And my first paycheck was for $1,600. They had taken out federal taxes, state taxes, Medicare taxes, Social Security taxes. I'm like 20-some years old. They're taking Social Security taxes out of my check. Are you kidding me? So on the first day of the month, I have $1,600. I pay all my bills, and on the second day of the month, I'm broke. So what am I going to do? Well, when you're in a situation like that, when you have more money going out than you have coming in, you're what's called upside down. And when you're upside down, you have to get back right side up. How do you do that? Well, there's two ways. Go all the way back to the beginning. Remember our plan? Revenue versus debt, income versus expense. There's two ways to get it right side up. You either bring in more income, get a second job, ask somebody for money, whatever you have to do to increase your income side, or you cut expense. I didn't need to buy a new car with a $400 payment. I sure didn't need an apartment that cost me $600. And when you think about it, I could have slept on the floor until I actually saved up enough money to go pay cash for some furniture. But you know what I did, guys? I didn't do any of those things. I came up with a third option, the bad one. And I went out and I got myself a credit card. And I started charging all of my incidental expenses on a credit card. In the beginning, it's no big deal. I'm just buying some groceries, buying some gas, $400 first month, $1,000 the second month. 2 years later, I'm $10,000 in credit card debt. And remember, it's not just the credit card debt. I had a lease, I had a car payment that I had a signed contract on, I had a contract for the furniture, and I also had a contract on the student loans, all of which I was obligated to pay. When you're in a situation like that, you either come up with a lump sum of money or you're going bankrupt. You want to know how I got out of it? Well, you see, when I married my wife, she had about $15,000, and I used her money to pay off the credit cards. But if you ever meet her, please don't bring that up because we're way past that now. Oh, trust me, I hear about this about once a year. Anyway, when you put together your financial plan, when you get that first job and they say your salary is this, that's the gross, okay? You then need to take the gross and take it about 65 to 70%. And that's called the net. And that's what you do your financial plan to, okay? You plan to the net, not the gross. And that way you won't get into financial troubles early on.